So, hi everybody. Good morning. For those who don't know me, just in case, my name is Marcela Černochová, and I'm the managing director of the British Chamber of Commerce. Hope you are all safe. You enjoyed the Easter holiday and had a chance to relax and recharge your batteries. And I hope that you are also managing successfully this challenging situation. We have prepared for you a number of online workshops to help you to cope with these difficult days. And one of the challenges for all of us was that, in fact, overnight, we all had to grow into crisis managers. And this is why we have asked Emmanuelle Boishardy, the general manager of GSK, to talk on management and leadership in crisis. And I'm really happy that Emma agreed to talk about her experience. I have known Emma since 2017, when she was appointed as general manager of GSK. And since then, she has been very active in supporting the British Chamber of Commerce. And she's also very much involved in the Equilibrium mentoring program for women. Emma joined GSK in 1999, and she has really wide portfolio and long experience in management and leadership. She has led many organizations, launched a number of new products in different markets, and successfully implemented several transformation projects. And I really like her motto, which is make the difference happen. And therefore, I believe that there is a lot to share. Just a technical note, because we have quite a high number of participants, so you can ask through the chat box, which you can see at the bottom of your screen. So please use that. You can either communicate just to all panelists or also to the attendees. So that's probably enough from my side now. And Emma, once again, welcome and many thanks, and over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Marcela. Can you hear me? Yeah, I hope it will be okay. I'm managing this through my phone, unfortunately, but it seems that it works. So again, thank you very much, Marcela, and the British Chamber of Commerce for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. I think it's, of course, professional experience during this COVID-19, but also personal experience, because as you know, in the current situation, the border between your professional life and your personal life, sometimes it's quite difficult to really make the difference, and I think it could be also nice to share some feedback on this. But first of all, you know, I hope you are all doing well after 1 month at home without all your family, your friends, and I hope everyone is healthy and safe. I would like also to thank those who joined this conference this morning, because, you know, I didn't prepare any slides. It will be really spontaneous feedback and learnings from me, but I would like also to have some discussion with you. So if you have any tips, you know, or if you want to comment, I think it would be great, because, you know, it's my own story. So, you know, it's led by my own experience, but also my leadership style, and, you know, who I am, definitely. So probably it will be different in another company or in other settings. So I think it's important also to share the views. So don't be shy, and please jump in to comment, to ask questions, or even to share also your experience about the crisis management. I just thought how to structure a little bit my talk this morning, and I will try to go through 4 parts. The first one is about the crisis management overall, how we can anticipate what we have to do. The second point is really how we prepared this COVID-19 crisis. And of course, then the go live, when the crisis came, how we were able to really implement our plan. And of course, the last part is about the issues we had, but also the first learning we can have, because I'm super optimistic. Sometimes my team said that I'm too optimistic, but I'm pretty sure that we will be stronger after this crisis. And based on the first learning, I'm pretty sure that we will be able also to reinvent our life and our ways of working. So if you are okay with this, maybe I will start with the crisis management. I think it's not a new topic, in our companies, because I would say we have crisis almost every day. So of course we have a small crisis, we have issues, we have problems. So we are, I think, quite skilled, in managing the crisis, the problem, the issues. So in terms of reflexes, I think we are quite strong on this, and we know how to handle it. I think the crisis management or the risk management is now really part of our business. I can see that everywhere we can have some conference about risk management and how really to anticipate, to be super accurate also in identifying the risks and how we can mitigate the risk on a really regular basis as assessment. I can see at GSK and particularly in Czech Republic, we are talking about risks and crisis management almost every month. So we have a meeting, a monthly meeting dedicated to this. So of course, it's about monitoring our ways of working to ensure that we are compliant, but it's also, and which sometimes it's not easy, is really to identify according the situations, additional risks and how really to mitigate them. I think one thing is very important, and I have to say that it's not easy, is to practice the crisis management plan you have. And, I think it's not the most sexy topic and the most sexy exercise to be done, honestly, but you can have a lot of learnings from this. And I can share with you that the last exercise we've done, it was more than 1 year ago in the office, and it was also led by someone external from our own organization, someone from GSK employee, but coming from London for this day, really to push us, in the corners and really to practice, not in a real life, because it was not a real case, but it was almost a real case. So we spent a day managing the situation, and so we saw some gaps. We had also a nice learning about this. But you know what? At the end of the day, but I think it was just at the conclusion of the exercise, with a very nice feedback from the guy, suddenly the alarm of the building started to ring, and it was pure panic, So, despite all the preparation and even, the day focused on one exercise, we were not able really to cope with the instant, and with the situation. So I think more than the exercise, it was on top a very nice also feedback from the situation. Just to tell you that we are not ready fully to manage the crisis, but the more you are practicing your crisis management plan, I think the more you are ready to handle it. So moving to this crisis, this COVID-19, I think the situation was quite unique because, you know, usually when you have a crisis, you are receiving a call or you are receiving a terrible email, and you know you are just stuck in front of your screen and say, oh my God, I have to do something immediately. So, and then you are going to implement your crisis management plan. With the COVID-19, it was a bit different, you know, because of course it started in China, but you know, and it came progressively, gradually to Czech Republic. So we had first signals with the quarantine for those who were coming back from Italy, for example, or affected countries. So at the beginning, it was not a real crisis mode, I would say. It was more about managing the situation on individual basis, just to see if among our employees we had someone affected by this quarantine, even sick. So really, I would say 2 weeks before the whole quarantine of the country, the management was really this one. People-oriented, of course, people first. Our employees are okay? Are they in quarantine because of traveling back from affected countries? And the second piece was when they decided to close the school, because immediately you have an impact of the parents. If you have to keep your kids at home, it's quite difficult to manage everything, you know, the kids, of course, but also the work. So immediately, again, individual by individual, we assessed who was in this case and the ability to continue to work, and also to provide some flexibility to the employees, really to adapt the working hours according to the free time, I would say. So working during the morning few hours, and then having the afternoon with the kids, and having also the opportunity to work during the evening. So I would say that we applied a lot of common sense, and with this flexibility about the working hours, it was, I would say, quite easy to manage. But during this period, during really the week before the beginning of the whole quarantine, we moved to this crisis management mode, meaning that we set up, you know, the cross-functional crisis team. And usually it's recommended to have a very small number of people, you know, to be super active, to have the right discussion. But I decided not to go in this direction, but to have at least one representative from each department, to be able to cover everything. So we had basically only 2 meetings during the week before. The first one was really to discuss about how to manage the different level of crisis we can face in the future. For example, being at the office, but with some constraints, up to closing the office, you know, and having really 1% of home office. So it was good to be ready for this one, because as you know now, it came very quickly. So the first meeting was really focused on this. We set up some key priorities, really aligned also with global priorities, because I have to say that I really appreciated that at global level, they decided to really empower the GMs, the general manager, because of course, the situation was really different from a country to another one. So it was quite difficult really to have this standard approach and say, okay, guys, we have a plan for you. So just implement the plan in your country and it should be okay. I think it doesn't work like this in this type of situation. And it was great that we had also this freedom really to adapt, fine-tune, and even to build our own. The three priorities for us were people, of course, people first, really to protect our employees and the family. The second one was about the business continuity. And the third one, which I like very much, is about solutions. So we worked about this, really on this, and we decided really to test the organization against the priorities. So 2 days later, we came back, same meeting, same people from each department, just to see if we were ready for this extreme level of crisis, meaning staying at home. And it was great to test this plan in advance, because of course we saw some gaps. And for example, someone was missing a printer at home, you know, or some application didn't work properly from home. We worked also about how to connect to the Wi-Fi, you know, the people, how to manage the VPN when the network is completely overloaded, you know, some really tips to manage the network remotely. So we tested definitely everything, department by department. We equipped people with some tools, and we reinvented some processes, you know, for example, contract management, when you have to manage hard copies, and which is quite difficult in such situation. So finally, we found a way, keeping one receptionist in the office and managing, you know, the contract between people through couriers. But, you know, you have to think about all the details, because even for the receptionist, you know, it was a key question about, yeah, but for her, how to come to the office? Because of course she didn't want to use the public transport, which I can understand. And to be honest, it was not my recommendation. She doesn't have any car. So we decided really to offer the taxi for her to have a private transfer every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, to ensure the continuity of the business at GSK. So, you know, sometimes it's really small things, but you can really make the difference in the business continuity with this. So I would say the Thursday, Friday before the 16th of March, we were almost ready for this, you know, for facing this crisis in the highest level of crisis. And suddenly the communication came from the government that we had to stay at home. So we asked people not to come on the Monday, or few people. I was there because, you know, in this time you have always great ideas. So for example, I decided to recruit a new assistant, and the new assistant came for the first day. It was the 16th of March. So but she was so nice and so flexible. So she came to the office. I gave her, you know, the laptop and really the minimum knowledge, and say, we will manage everything remotely. It's possible to onboard someone remotely. Of course, a bit different. Then on this famous Monday, I closed the office. And I have to say that it was a lot of emotion, finally, at the end of the day, to say, okay, so I didn't lock the door, of course, because the office is not fully locked, but just to say, okay, so bye-bye. And I hope we will see each other very soon, which, to be honest, it's not the case. So from the 16th of March, we are working from home for the office-based people, but also for our people based on the field, which is even more, I would say, frustrating, not to be in contact on a daily basis with a face-to-face interaction with our customers, the physician. But, in such situation, it's obvious that it was really difficult to reach them, to discuss with them. Most of our customers were frontline, with the management of the COVID-19. So we had also to reinvent our ways of working from home, even for the medical representative. So what we've done, we implemented the plan we thought about the week before. So and we tried really to stick to our priority. Again, top priority was about our people. So at the beginning, every day we had a check with the managers about individuals. Are they okay, healthy? Can they work from home? Any issue, how we can support them? And then, very quickly, we decided also to really work on the connection with people. Because you have this experience as well, it's super hard to be alone at home and not to have the connection. And when you are alone at home, and it was my case, I realized how I was missing, and I'm still missing, the informal moment we have during the day. And sometimes you are not aware that you have this informal moment, sometimes just 30 seconds of laughing with your team, or even fixing some problem very easily. But when you are at home, you have to organize everything, nothing is very spontaneous. So we try to think about how we can have some fun moment or some great moment all together. So it was really about the discussion about well-being. So usually we have, for example, yoga session at the office. So, the teacher was at home as well. So we asked him, do you think feasible finally to have a remote yoga session through the laptops, through the application? And say, maybe. So let's try. So we had a great success. The first lesson we had, I think, 35 people connected, 7:30 in the morning, practicing the yoga. So it was like a pilot. Finally, we decided to keep it on a weekly basis. We added some Pilates courses, some stretching courses. And it's interesting because, of course, we are not all together in the same room, but just sharing the same activity at the same time make the connection better, So it's very interesting to see that we were super happy to be all together connected at the same time for the same activity, even finally, if we didn't speak to each other. Sometimes you didn't see the people, but it was really interesting. So we are keeping this pace, I would say, in terms of health and well-being. In each department, we managed to have, the morning coffee with the team, which is super important as well. Temperature, in the morning, how are you? What is the agenda of the day? And also just to have some fun and some informal moments. After 2 or 3 weeks, I was missing so much, this interaction with people. So I decided really to create a virtual coffee or so with employees. Usually I have one, of course, face-to-face. It's coffee with Emma at the office. It's 1 hour without any agenda. It's not mandatory, so you can come just for 1 hour or even for shorter time, and we can discuss professional topics, but it could be personal as well. So I decided to try to do it, but remotely with people. So we started 2 weeks ago, and it was great. A lot of people joined, and I can tell you that the first coffee, the virtual coffee, we didn't speak at all about business. It was about, the tips, how to manage our hair, during this period who is not hairdresser. This type of things quite essential, I have to say, during this period, which I think was great because we had a lot of opportunities really to smile, to laugh, and using the video as well is really good because it makes the difference in terms of the quality of the connection with people. From a business perspective, I think it's quite difficult to predict in advance what we would be able to do, you know, in few months. However, what we decided is really to work on contingency plan on a weekly basis and really to adjust according to the feedback, according to the willingness of our customers to discuss with us. Because of course, the face-to-face interaction is absolutely not possible. So we have some phone calls with them. We tried also to organize some webinar, and what we decided, and I think it's important as a pharma company, is about how we can support our physician, you know, during this period, because of course it's super difficult for them, super demanding, a bit scary as well, and how as a pharma company we can support them during this period. So it's not only about providing some material, you know, but we tried also to provide them some knowledge about the COVID-19. So very quickly, the team organized a webinar with all our customers, and it was even broader than GSK Pharma because we were also in contact with a GSK Consumer, the second part of GSK, and we managed to organize this webinar very quickly, of course, remotely, and we got more than 1,400 people connected to this, and it was planned for 1 hour. We finished after 2 hours. Tons of questions, as you can imagine, you know, about how to vaccinate in such period, you know, this type of question, super practical for them. So it was really the new angle we took, really to not to promote, I would say, our treatment, our medicines, but really how we can support them on these difficult circumstances. So we are continuing, you know, to build some webinar for them, sometimes more specific to therapeutic areas, this type of things. But what I really appreciate, you know, is the commitment of my team and the creativity of the team, which is also a nice learning from this period. I can see a lot of motivation, you know, in supporting our customers. And it's really great to see, you know, the energy behind the plan and behind all the activities we can run today. So it's really great. So I talked about people, I talked about business continuity, and the third one was about solutions. So of course, for GSK Global, I say GSK Worldwide, the solutions are quite obvious. You know, as a pharma company, it's about finding treatment for this COVID. We are number one vaccines. So of course, we are working on vaccines as well. We partner with a lot of companies really to speed up the work on vaccine, on finding this vaccine. If I'm right, because the situation is evolving every day, but I think we already signed 6 partnership with external company. Latest one, which is in precedent partnership, is with Sanofi. You know, so the 2 biggest pharma companies in vaccines, you know, having this partnership really to find the vaccine in a very short-term period. So I think it's a great demonstration of how we can offer solution to not only to the customer, but to the citizens of the world. But locally, you know, what can we do locally? Because of course we have this power, but still. So we took this solutions topic in 2 angles. The first one was internally, how we can simplify our ways of working, our processes, during this time, because quite difficult to manage everything, a lot of processes, a lot of administration in our processes. So finally, in 1 hour brainstorming, we found a lot of ideas. One of them, for example, very quick one, electronic signature. So we had the electronic signature, but not for everybody and not for all the customers outside GSK. So we decided to equip everybody, short training the week after. So now everybody is trained with this electronic signature. And I can tell you that it changed a lot our life to manage contracts and all the documentation. So this type of initiative. Of course, solution is about also external solution. I'm part of IFP board. So having this position, we can drive also some agenda in connection also with authorities, of course, Minister of Health, SUCOL, or payers. So we are working, so it's just in this exploration phase. For example, we are working on the feasibility to bring the treatment from the hospital to the patient home. Because of course, when you have a chronic disease, it's super scary to go to the hospital just to pick up your treatment. So how we can make it happen, to really protect the patient and for the patient to stay at home and to manage really the distribution of the medicine. So this type of thing, of course, it's about some donation for hospital, for them to have more material, respirators, and all the stuff you know. So this is the current situation. I have to say that the engagement of the team is still amazing. We have also a strong communication plan internally. We are using a workplace with this, it's a internal Facebook. So I'm trying to post on a regular basis, my thoughts, but also, my life here, my coffee, my morning coffee, and what is important for us really to focus on. I can see also very nice initiative from the teams, posting crazy pictures of them during a call or some challenges and this type of thing. So I think communication is really key and sometimes not easy to manage, but I think we need really to focus on this. And probably what is difficult is it's easy to communicate at the beginning of the crisis because you are in this moment, in this crisis moment. But after 1 month, you are moving gradually to this, I would say, normal life at home, so which is a bit different. So you have also to reinvent yourself, how really you can make the communication a little bit different. So did we face some problems? Definitely, yes. We had problems, of course, mainly on IT. Sometimes quite difficult to connect the Wi-Fi, because of course, when you're at home, you are not alone. I can share my personal experience, here in the house, it's like a co-working space, So from the beginning, we had really to distribute the room according to the needs of my daughters and myself. So I am currently in my daughter's bedroom because I have a smaller desk. She needs a bigger one, so she's in the office. And my second daughter is in her bedroom. But when we are using the Wi-Fi at the same time for school or purpose, sometimes we have bad surprises with the system. So you have to manage this as well. I think the big surprise for me was the workload. I'm still completely overloaded, and after 1 month at home, I'm still spending hours and hours in front of my laptop. I'm an early bird, so at 7 in the morning, I am already in front of my screen. but I need a really huge discipline to say at 6 p.m. I have to stop and I have to go out just to have some fresh air, because the workload is really huge, and it's difficult really to have for me, but sharing also this issue with others, I can see that it's not only really to have the discipline to have time for lunch and to have some breaks during the day, because you are in front of the laptop, you have all the meetings, so you are missing the informal moment, but you are missing also the breaks, and it's quite difficult to recover your energy during the day. So I need to think about it again, because definitely I didn't find the winning recipe to really decrease the workload, and probably to set the priorities a little bit differently. So this is one learning for me. In terms of learnings, and to be honest, it's just the beginning, but I have to say that you cannot create a strong culture during this period. You have to rely on what we've done before. So in terms of culture, in terms of values, in terms of ways of working, for example, the cross-functional ways of working, if it's not embedded before the crisis, I think it is super difficult to build and to reinvent everything during the crisis. So at GSK, we worked hard in 2019 to rebuild our culture, because we had a lot of transformation in 2018. So 2019 was really the year really to embed our values, rethink our ways of working, and to strengthen our culture. At the end of 2019, we had a very nice engagement survey with a fantastic engagement score of our people, and also about the pride to work at GSK and for GSK. And I have to say that I can see also the impact, the positive impact of having such strong culture embedded within and among the employees, because you can really rely on this, which is great, because, you know, in terms of trust, you need to have trust, you know, because people are far from you. We are all in our house, home, apartment. So you need to trust your people. So you need to have this nice level of trust. And by having this built before, I have to say that I don't want to say easy, but probably easier really to continue and to rely on our people. As I said at the beginning, I'm convinced that we will work differently after this crisis, probably more this home office, but also I'm thinking about our medical representative in the field. We can see that even through the phone, we can have a great discussion with our physicians. So probably we will move to an hybrid model, combining face-to-face interaction and remote interaction, maybe also using more the webinar, which is at the end super convenient for the customer, because they can really attend the conference from their office. They don't have to travel. And even from a cost perspective, you know, I think it could be also interesting for us to think about it. So I have a few ideas. Let's see if it will be possible to implement them. And of course, I think we could have a very nice brainstorming after this crisis, just to think about how we can move forward with new ideas. And probably we will stop some activities, because definitely, you know, it won't be, you know, the future of our business model. And so I'm looking forward to come back to the office, definitely. First, to meet the people, my employees. I hope we will be able to even celebrate, you know, our restart at the office. I already prepared something, but it's still secret because I know some of my people are connected, so I don't want to disclose everything. But yes, I need to really see them, and because it's part also of your own energy, coming from your team. So let's have good moment. Let's try to continue to work in this situation, to see the positive things, and try to move forward, because I think this is the most important. I think I talked a lot. So I don't know if you have any comments, any questions for me. I would be super happy to answer your questions.
Emma, thank you so much for such a great talk, and so much experience and learnings from you. There are some questions there. Either you can I can read them if you want, or you can have a look at the chat box. Can you see it, or it's maybe too difficult for you on the mobile?
I'm not sure to do it from my.
Okay, I will read it for you, the questions,
yeah,
then,
sure.
if you're fine with that.
Yeah, please.
So by Eva Shaw, there is a question: as the UK went into lockdown later than the Czech Republic and other countries in mainland Europe, do you think that the UK looked to you to see how you managed the crisis?
Thank you, Eva, for the questions. I don't know, to be honest. What I know is that we are spending a lot of time to share all the initiatives we have in different countries, to get inspiration from each other. So it doesn't mean that one successful activity in Czech Republic will be successful in UK, or vice versa, but just to have some inspiration, I think it's good. So yeah, definitely, I think they can get inspired by Czech Republic, but I also to be humble, and not only from Czech Republic, even if we are doing a great job, I have to say.
Okay, another question. Do you think that this situation has actually helped people become more structured and making sure they exercise, eat lunch, and work more productively?
I'm not sure. For me, definitely not. More structure, maybe in my work, definitely, in terms of anticipation, because of course, as a leader, you have to anticipate even more in this type of situation. And sometimes it's difficult because who knows, what will be the situation in 1 month. So quite difficult. But yeah, I think it's a good question also for my team, having this discipline and more structure about eating and so on. So, I think it's part of our objectives regarding the well-being, really to provide them and to support them, with the yoga, this type of exercises. But also we have some conference about resilience, how to work from home. So we are trying to feed also our employees with some nice conference and nice tips. So, but it's a good question. Maybe I will ask them next time. Yeah.
Okay, so there are more questions. I think you will be overloaded with questions. There is one nice message which I want to share with you. I just wanted to thank you and share that I love your human approach to leading your team. It's so refreshing and inspiring. Thank you for being so open and sharing your approach with us. This is by Christine Purple.
Oh, thank you very much, Christine.
Another nice one. Thank you, Emma, for your effort. We are really happy to have you and looking forward to you too. That's from Olga Martinikova. Maybe you know her.
Thank you.
And then one more question. Do you find it hard sometimes to remain so motivated, especially as you are expected to keep positive all the time as GM and usually you can bounce ideas of people face to face in the office?
As I said, I'm super optimistic, so it's not a big effort to be positive, and I know that during this period, you have also to be cautious to be a role model, in leading your people. But at the same time, and because we already discussed all together about authenticity of the leader, and I think you have to also to keep this authenticity during the interaction, even sharing that you are overloaded, that you are human, and I think it's quite important. But no, to be positive, I think it's key. Even when we are not in this crisis mode, sometimes you have some issue also at home. I can share that I'm still scary about the future for my one of my daughter. When they decided to close the school, she called me. I was at the office, and she said, "You know what? They are going to close the school. How I will manage my exam at the end of the year?" So my God, and I was so scary about this, And so finally, the French government took decision, but now I have a new issue with her. She will move to France. She will move to France for the university. How I can manage it if the borders are still closed, So, but I think everyone has some issues, at home, and you have to cope with this. So, of course, you can share it as I'm doing now, but you have also to move forward. So I don't have the answer right now for Paris, but I'm pretty sure that it will come in the coming weeks. So I think it's a fair balance between being positive, but genuinely positive, and to keep this authenticity as a leader. I think what is important is, for me, it's not to change and to be the same. I think I'm not able to change, but really to be the same. At the office, when I am in the field with my team, or when I am at home, to keep the same style, I would say.
Okay, so a few more questions from Erika Lore. Hi, Erika. I would like to ask, how many employees do you have in the Czech Republic? And if your company requests from the Czech government the salary compensation for your employees in the anti-COVID program? And what is your experience with the application if you did so as a big company? Thank you for sharing this information.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So with the trainees for the pharma side of GSK, we have 114 employees, and we didn't ask for the compensation of the salary. So I don't know the process, sorry.
Okay, Erika, maybe you can get in touch with me personally, and we can discuss a little bit about that. Next question from Jana Tikalova, another familiar name. I can see many actually from Equilibrium and from our members. So Jana, many thanks for sharing. How do you deal with those employees who were not before the crisis engaged, motivated? How is the cooperation now when you are remote?
I have to say that so in November, when we received the survey about this engagement index, I can share with you, it was about 94% of engaged people. So I would say the majority of our people is engaged. Still, I think what is important is to keep this nice atmosphere among the teams, the different teams. So that's why with the managers, we decided also to have this type of initiative like the morning coffee, and to have really space to share, issues, obstacles in your work, and so on. So really to keep the connection with of them, individually or collectively. I think it's important, and I think this is the best way also to keep people motivated. So I think we have honest and open dialogue at GSK. So to be honest, I didn't hear so far, but maybe this is the case, but from the manager that we have issues with some of the employees not engaged. I can see exactly the opposite. So, but again, I think it's about the communication and keeping the connection, I would say, on a daily basis.
Okay, thank you. And there is another question which I think you partly answer from Emily Antonet. She says, thanks for your personal and inspiring reflections, as always, with smile. I am too struggling with the workload at the moment, and also wonder of how to best manage this. I also think about how we as leaders are always there to support and engage others, but how can we ensure that we get the support and motivation ourselves? How do you do to stay positive? I think partly you answer.
Yes, thanks, Emily. We're in situation, so it's not easy because again, I think there's no standard approach. What I'm trying to do, it's to protect the organization from all the things which are coming from global, and I'm completely flooded with communication, with plans, with all initiatives at global level. I can tell you that every night I'm receiving one email with between 8 and 10 attached documents, and it takes me almost 1 hour each morning to read all the documents to see if it's relevant for the local company or not, to distribute to relevant people and so on. So I think it's about having this ability really to put an umbrella, over the local organization, and to protect them, from all the requests coming from a different part of the organization, and really to focus on what we can do, and to keep this practical and pragmatic approach. I think it's not the right time, to think about reinventing the world, but let's keep focused on what we have to do in an easy way.
Okay, then another one. I'm moving from the chat box to Q&A, so I hope I will not offend anybody if I will change the order. Hi Emma, what do you think will be the biggest learning or positive change we will take with us after the COVID period? From Karolina Holushova.
Thanks, Carolina, for the question. The biggest. Maybe the biggest thing is about the team spirit, because probably is what we are struggling the most with today, because we have to recreate, this artificial spirit over the laptop, over the screen, and definitely we know that alone it's quite difficult to move the things. So I think it's important just to conclude that we need everybody and the power of the team. We are stronger all together. It's easy to say, but I think it's a good demonstration as well that when you are alone, in your bedroom, sometimes it's quite difficult, and it takes a lot of effort really to connect with people and to recreate, there's this team spirit. So definitely we need to enjoy it. And once we will be in face-to-face, I think we will realize the power we have, and maybe we will work even more on this.
Okay, two more questions. So another one from Christine. How is your family in France? Does this bring you any personal stress? And I have to say that I have found being away from home during this time very challenging. Thank you for sharing, and I hope everyone is well.
Yeah, thank you very much for asking, Christine. The family is doing well in France. So my parents, finally, we are lucky because they live in a not really affected area in southwest of France, which is good, and they are quite disciplined with the isolation rules in France. So I'm really proud of them, and so far so good. So thank you for asking.
So I think last question, because we are just getting at the end of our time. Another from Katka Šipková. Dear Emma, you mentioned your support for doctors. I work in a very small company with resources incomparable with GSK. However, we still want to support doctors and medical staff in the first line. Would you know any non-profit organization that focuses on helping specifically this group of people, which are essential for fighting the COVID crisis?
I'm not able to answer now, but maybe she can send the questions to IFP, and we can have a look at it, and maybe we can answer the questions. Okay. Or she can send me an email, and I will manage to get some answer.
Yeah. Katko, in case you don't have email to Emma, you can send it to me, and I will connect you. So we will manage the answer for you. Okay, so I think that's probably all for now. I can imagine we could. There is some response, maybe Luno. So we will see. So once again, Emma, thank you so much for sharing this with us. I expected a lot, and you just confirmed that my expectations were correct. So thanks thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And I think we have a lot to digest, and I think you proved that you are an inspiring leader and that you can transmit the positive energy even through the screen. So that's great. And maybe before we close this session, I'd like to invite all of you participants, and maybe you, Emma, as well, if you wish so, that in case that you might need any mental support while implementing the crisis management, that we are organizing quite a topical webinar this afternoon at 2 p.m. with psychologist Jan Ženatý, and the name of the webcast is How Not to Get Mad in This Time. So you are more than welcome to join us. And well, thank you all for being with us, and I'm looking forward to meeting you online, or maybe better, hope to see you soon in person. So Emma, once again, thank you so much. And
thank you for the organization, and let's keep in touch as usual.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.